Okay. Tonight we are talking, and actually, will you just let me know I'm outside? Is the wind or noise okay? Okay, cool. I like that my office can be anywhere. So I'm sitting outside trying to enjoy a little sun after I taught 8 hours inside today. Um, so the topic we're talking about is fear and how to overcome our fears. And really, I created this topic because it's something that I need to hear. It's something that I need to work on. And I know that I'm not alone in that, as often as I can sometimes go into my own head and my own thoughts and feel very alone and feel very just fear-based in my everyday. And so I'm going to relate it a little bit to our everyday as well as into our coaching business, because I know that we all have fears in our coaching business, and maybe you don't all know. Maybe you're just hopping on, maybe you're new, maybe you're just getting started and you've got all these fears and you're looking at successful coaches, where I am, where other people that started before you. I know we're all guilty of comparing ourselves at times, and you may think, oh, they're doing it and they're successful because they're not afraid, they're not scared, they're not fearful, and I want you to know that I'm terrified. I want you to know that all of the coaches ahead of us are all afraid and have our own fears in life and in this business for sure. And the only difference between the successful and the unsuccessful, and knowing that we all have fear, is that the ones that are successful are the ones that are acknowledging the fear and are taking steps every day, taking steps forward to push through that fear. You know, that saying of fail forward. Wouldn't we all rather fail moving forward and, you know, taking those steps to grow than fail sitting here doing nothing and taking no action? So ultimately, you know, if it doesn't scare you, if your dreams don't scare you, if your goals don't scare you, then they're not big enough. So you need to be thinking about what your goals are and what your dreams are, and make them as big as you can until the point that they do scare you, because otherwise you're being too safe, and most likely you're in a comfort zone, and you could be sitting still but you're comfortable, or you can be looking back into the past and saying, oh, but I know what that is. That's comfortable. I'm going to stay here, instead of fear, which most of us have, a fear of the unknown, right? The only reason we're afraid is because we don't know what's there. The only time I got scared hiking was when I was by myself in Spooky Gulch Trail, and it got so narrow that I had to turn my body sideways and shuffle through. And the canyon was so high and so narrow, there was very little sunlight coming through. It's called Spooky Gulch for a reason, right? And I don't know how long the trail is. It's like an unmarked good luck. There's a little map with dotted lines, but what does that mean? I have no idea. And I'm by myself. And it took me an hour and a half to find this trail, and I almost gave up. And that's a whole nother story of like persevering. But I was like, okay, I'm going to look around this corner. You know, I'm checking my water, I'm checking my time, I'm checking my energy, I'm checking, do I know my way back to where I came from? Okay, I'm going to check this one more trail. And I'm so glad that I took that step, even though I had a little fear in me, because I experienced something so incredible and magical. But you know, you have to understand, I think, the difference. And again, I want you to know that I'm not speaking at you. I'm not preaching to you. I am no fear master. This is something I struggle with. So I'm speaking to myself and what I need to hear in hopes that maybe you can relate. But knowing the difference between emotional fear, or that unconscious mind fear, those thoughts, those feelings that aren't real, feelings aren't facts, understanding the difference between that emotional fear versus like physical fear, where you are in the middle of a canyon, you don't know how long the trail is, it gets to this really dark part, it turns a sharp corner and goes straight up, and you're like, okay, I think I could probably climb up it, but can I climb down it by myself? Maybe not. It's time to turn around, and making that smart choice of understanding when they're, you know, if you have a child that's, you know, in danger, it's a natural reason to feel fear. We all feel it. But trying to differentiate that emotional fear that goes through our thoughts every single day, like one of the most terrifying things of inviting people. It's like, it's one of the three, you know, one of our three vital behaviors as a coach, but yet it's like terrifying still to invite. And I think that it doesn't matter how long you're in the coaching business. And I'm only saying this from, you know, what I hear from research, from other coaches, from watching videos, team calls, and myself being a 2-year diamond coach. It's still scary to invite. And I think, you know, I want to, if we have time at the end of this call, I want to share a really great call I found on the fear of inviting and how to overcome that. It's really cute, quirky, and I stumbled upon it. And I want to share that with you. And one of the things that he talks about is just changing your vocabulary of the inviting. And it's changing it to sharing and remembering why we're here. And that we're here to share this incredible thing that changed our lives, that works in our life, a way of living that we feel can help people. So it's just remembering our vocabulary around it sometimes, and then remembering why we're here, and our purpose is to help and serve other people. It's when we get into that selfish, unconscious at times, sometimes conscious thought of like, fear of failure. I'm not going to do this. I can't be successful. This isn't for me. That negative self-talk, right? So right now, kind of before I go on, just so that we can all get a focus. And again, if you're watching this recording, you should always have a notebook, because now I want you to draw to that notebook, and I want you to do a brain dump. So I know I'm not the only one with fear. So right now it's literally a brain dump. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no judgment. I want you to write down anything that comes to your head right now of what you're afraid of. And I'm just going to sort of chill for like a minute, 90 seconds, and just brain dump anything that comes to mind. And as we are going to transition this into overcoming our fear and setting goals and steps to do that, as we talk about goals, and if you need to watch a call on goals, we have 2 team Balance Bound calls on goals on our YouTube and in our Facebook page for team calls to go back to those, because that's going to help you in these steps to overcome fear. I'm not going to spend too much time there with our focus on fear, but be thinking about the different areas in your life that we talk about when setting goals. So fears in your personal life, fears in your professional life, fears in your emotional life, financial life, in your health, in your relationships, with friends and family. You know, there's more areas in our life, but just to give you a few, what fears come to mind in those areas? And I will go ahead and share some of my fears in those areas, and perhaps you can relate to them or not, or perhaps you'll add them to your list. I'm sure if you all shared your fears with me, I'd be adding to my list as well. But, you know, fear of failure, fear of not having enough money, fear of just lack, not having enough, fear of being alone, fear of not being good enough, fear of not doing enough, fear of not truly being loved, fear of not being there, or letting somebody down when they need me, fear of not finishing. How many things have we started in our lives that we haven't finished? And oh my God, how many times do we think that this is going to be one of them every time we get stuck or scared? But I want you to know that this can be different, because we have such a great support system and systems for this business. I'm sure many of you are fearful of what people might think of you. I mean, this business is about opening up. It's about like being vulnerable. It's about being you on social media, which is like terrifying if you're I don't know, normal. I think that's terrifying. Fear of people not liking your posts. I mean, it comes to be that ridiculous, right? And I think, yeah, so I mean, that's just a few. I'm sure we all have a list, our own list. And I think it's important that we're honest about it. I think it's important that we're talking about it. Because anytime, I know for me, when I get stuck in it and I think I'm alone and it's all me and I'm messed up and this is only, it's not. I just want you to know you're not alone. And I'm talking to myself and reminding myself that it is normal. All successful people in any businesses that you're going to find, if you think they didn't have fears getting there, it's the people that can work through those fears. So, knowing all those fears that can hold us back and weight us down, again, I think it's talking about it, it's sharing about it, it's taking steps forward, pushing through them that is going to make us feel better, and not being bogged down by it. But there's also perhaps fear in a good way. If we can twist it and kind of turn it around, fear can push us forward. Fear of what might not happen if this doesn't work, or fear, what happens if I don't take the action? What does that look like? So for me, a good example is fear of standing still. Fear of, again, not finishing something, being here a year from now, being in the same place. Fear of that, like, not moving forward in your life, right? Fear of, oh my gosh, for how many years have I been in debt? Or how many years have I been jumping careers trying to figure out where I belong or what I want to do in my life? Whatever you might be able to connect to. If that fear of being in the same place is scarier than what could happen if you actually took actions on your dreams, on your goals, on those big, hairy, scary goals. If you actually took action on those goals, what would the outcome be? What could the outcome be, right? So if that's something for you, like it is for me, and I'm trying to really dissect my fears a little bit more so that I can move forward. And I don't want to be in the same place in a year. I am making income from this business, but I am also spending my income. I'm very good at that. So I need to look at, why I do the things I do and try and set goals and figure out what those fears are so that I'm setting the right goals. Let's see, I think it's interesting that in this business specifically, we know we can be successful. There's nothing guaranteed by Beachbody and the set of income, but we know we can be successful in this business if we follow the systems, we do the steps. We are literally given the pathway to success. And my question is, why don't we do it? Why don't we take those action steps? I know I'm guilty of it. I know what I need to do. And there's times where I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, but I'll get to it tomorrow. At some point that has to change. Or I'm going to be in the same place in a year. Right? So make a decision and decide to commit 100%. Make a decision to overcome that fear, whatever that number one fear is you have in whatever area in your life that you want to talk about. If we're talking about coaching, then decide, make a commitment to overcome that fear in your coaching business. Commit 100% to setting a non-negotiable goal. So again, we know the steps to take. We have the systems, and we know how to do our power hour. Everything is in our power hour. So whatever that commitment is, commit 100%. And and set a no matter what goal. I know that the most successful coaches in this business didn't stay comfortable. This business didn't come easy to them. They were consistent. They pushed through their fear, and they set goals. They set not just goals, but no matter what goals, right? So again, we have a couple of videos in our Balance Bound team library. Go check them out on goals, and we'll walk you through that. But ultimately, I think there's a difference in setting a no matter what goal, because there's some goals we can set for ourselves and then be like Success Club, for example. Okay, my goal is to hit Success Club 5. But if I don't hit it, I mean, I don't really know what it does or doesn't do for me. It doesn't really affect me. I don't feel it. It doesn't hurt. It's not like you're getting hit. It's like you don't feel it. So if that goal, it doesn't affect you emotionally, or your why isn't big enough to know that you need to follow whatever your coach is sort of guiding you to do, because you're going to listen to them because you trust them. They're one step ahead of you in the process, and they're going to hopefully help teach you and teach you through their mistakes, right? And teach you through what worked for them and what didn't work. So, if your goal, again, isn't big enough that you're not scared to death to hit it, and it doesn't have major consequences for you and your why to not hit it, it's not big enough. And maybe, just maybe, it's too easy, it's too convenient, it's too comfortable, and you're not pushing yourself. What I do love about this business is that if you commit to this business, you won't be in the same place in a year, because this business will push you if you truly follow the process. Because you're listening to personal development every single day, it doesn't matter where you are in your business, you're going to change as a person, and it's going to happen in the time that it's supposed to happen for you. But the difference of being comfortable in that process and growing at whatever pace is your non-negotiable goals, your no matter what goals. Let's see. Talking about inviting a little bit, because I know that that's a common fear that we all share in this business of, what are they going to think of me? What if they say no? And they do say no, right? So ultimately, I think what we need to just try to remember, it's so hard to remember this, especially because it's all about relationships, that we end up asking people and sharing with people that we really truly care about. And I'm not going to lie and tell you mine's all been like hearts and roses in this process. I will tell you, I've lost a good friend because I reached out and I invited. And I'm not telling you that to like scare you, to give you fear, to hold you back from inviting that person. But I just want you to know it's a reality. And I need to look at what was that friendship before I invited, where were my true intentions coming from, and was I willing to almost to risk that, and I think, so it's actually happened twice. And one time was really recent. The first one was telling me that I was disingenuous, that I had ulterior motives, that I'm trying to remember, because now I've let it go and I've moved on. It took me several months to move past that and to build up that courage to then invite another close friend. But I genuinely had this best person's interest at heart. This person was already living that lifestyle, and it was new for her, and she would have killed it. It would have been perfect for her. She was a fellow dancer. This is something she could have done while traveling in between tours and auditioning. I mean, it was just, in my opinion, humble opinion, similar person to me. It was the perfect fit, and I had to reach out and I had to ask her. And ultimately she said, something like, all these people are like hitting me up and you have ulterior motives and blah, blah. And I'm like, you should be complimented and feel good that all these people are reaching out to you, because they want to share this opportunity with you. It's a perfect fit for you. They want you to know about it. I want you to know about it. That's it. Go join somebody else's team. I want you to know about it. I would want somebody to tell me. So when I realized this person was, ultimately, similar thing happened a week ago too. What's with all these Beachbody coaches hitting me up? I'm like, okay, wow, sorry. First of all. Second of all, I was honest, it took me a lot of courage to reach out to her. For 2 years since I signed, like she was one of the first person I thought of. And I waited 2 years to ask her. And then I got up the courage and she totally went at me. And here's what I know. And I know this because I've been through this before in other areas of my life. It has nothing to do with me. And when somebody says no to you, it has nothing to do with you. And what we need to do is take the emotion out of it. It is not all about us. We are here because we have good intentions. We want the best for people in health, in fitness, in financial stability, in fulfillment in life, in the opportunity to grow as a person and be paid for it, to be surrounded by an incredible, beautiful community that we share openly, that we care for people genuinely, and that we have tools that can solve people's problems. Some of the best tools that are available. It's not about me and it's not about you when they say no. And I need to remember that. And on a whole nother topic, just pray for that person, because they're hurting when they respond that way. But I want you to know that is the exception. I mean, I must have invited, I'm doing my power hour every day for 18 months. So times that by how many people I'm inviting every day, every week, that happened twice out of probably 10,000 invites, so that is rare. But I just want you to know if and when it does happen to you, it's not about you. And it can happen with family members and it can happen with friends. And ultimately what we do need to remember and keep in mind is that you need to follow your heart. You need to follow your gut. I believe a lot in our gut. I do a lot of things I know I shouldn't do. In my gut, I know I shouldn't do it. I do it anyway. That's a choice that I choose to make. I'm getting better about that. But my gut is usually always right. Trust your gut. Trust your heart. Invite when you know it's right. Share when you know it's somebody that's worthy of sharing, somebody that you want to be in your community, somebody that you trust, somebody that you love, somebody that you want to see the best in. And know that the no's are not about you, and they are no, not right now. So if you can take it as a positive, they responded to you. You know what's worse? When nobody responds to you. The fear of the unknown. They didn't respond. Why didn't they respond? They must not like me. They didn't like what I posted on social media today. Oh my God, they hate me. Oh my God, it was something that I said 10 years ago. Oh my God, they're judging me. No, they're not. We need to take that out. It's not all about us. It's about them. It's not a good time for them. They legitimately don't have the money. They legitimately are going on vacation and can't do it right now. You need to just highlight that name, that no, be excited they responded to you, and put them on your follow-up list in 2 months. Great. Now you've got somebody that you're building a relationship with. You need to contact them and build that relationship. You need to contact them, befriend them, get to know them, have a genuine relationship, and that will come in time. A lot of my Success Club points and a lot of my challengers and clients and coaches that are with me this year were people that I've been talking to my whole first year in the business. So be patient, be consistent, and keep doing your power hour and keep inviting. You should be getting, 20 no's a week. If you're not getting 20 no's a week, your goals aren't big enough, and you need to be thinking about how you can help more people. Ultimately, be looking for those no's. Let's see. So let's talk a little bit more about moving forward into those. We've got the fears listed. We know, let's talk about how we can overcome them and steps that we can make. And again, I don't have all the answers and solutions, but I'm going to just give you some ideas on how you can do it. And one of them is, if you haven't done the brain dump, do the brain dump and start there. One of them, I want you to be thinking about, something basic that we can all do about any topic we need to learn about. Research it. You guys, when I knew that I had to do this call on fears and how to overcome them, I already gained a plethora of knowledge just from researching it. So do your research on overcoming fear. Do it on overcoming a specific fear that you might have. And what I actually want you guys to do when you watch this video, so if it's this week, if it's next year, whenever, I don't even think I said the date, it's June 20th, 2016. Whenever you're watching this video, what I want you to do is I want you to spend the next week focused on this topic, especially if this topic speaks to you. If you're like, I ain't got no fears, I'm good, move on. Okay, good. Go back and watch the goal setting videos or find something else that you can focus on this week. But I want you to focus this week on overcoming fear. I want you to focus this week on overcoming a specific fear. So maybe you star one or two that really stood out to you that you're like, okay, this is where my focus needs to be because this one's killing me. I don't even know where it comes from. And I want you to spend some time with it. There are a few things that we can do. Again, one is research. One is pray. If you pray about it. Pray to be relieved of this fear. It's a daily practice. Maybe you meditate. Spend some time in quiet, thinking about it, reflecting on it. I know in this go, go, go world and in our Beachbody coaching, it's like, ooh, how fast can I type to get through my power hour? Oh my God, I got to keep it under an hour. I got to, cool. Now spend 15 minutes sitting still, close your computer, close your eyes, and think about your fear. Take that time to meditate, reflect. And I want you to post things either on your page, in our team page, about this. Share, be vulnerable. And it can totally just be in our team page. If you're up for the challenge, post it on your page today. I woke up with this. It's crazy how life works, and I have personally of spirituality of a higher power. I believe in a bigger existence than myself. Things happen for a reason. And I posted about it this morning because I woke up with it in my head and I had to get it out. And isn't it interesting enough that the posts that I schedule ahead of time in my 21-day challenge group, in my ongoing accountability group, both had to do with perfection and overcoming fear. And I just find it so interesting that, how that works. And I, again, in another, something a little greater than that, I have a daily reader that I do spiritually. And today, June 20th, is the topic of fear. And I just want to read a little bit about, a little bit from that. And it says, so my best alternative to fear is to admit that I have a problem, accept my reactions, and I need to turn them over. Whether, again, meditating or praying about it. I often heard that courage is fear that has said its prayers. And I must have faith as I wait for healing. So I think it's important that we recognize it and then spend some time reflecting about it and have faith in the process and the patience that it's going to take to overcome it. Because most likely that fear has not just arrived. It's somewhere deep within you. So in the meantime, there are important ways in which I can help myself. And the first step is learning how to respond more effectively to myself. Not beating yourself up with negative self-talk or I should be here. Why can't I do this? I'm not good enough. Fear of failure, all of those things. We need to learn how to respond, I think, with more patience, more compassion for ourselves, just as we would with anybody else. It says I can learn to respond with love, caring, and respect for myself, even for those parts of me that experience fear, confusion, and anger. Today, I'll try to become more aware of alternatives that I have yet not recognized. And so for those alternatives, I think it's a matter of setting our goals. So I want to talk about setting your goals. And then just like, if you want something that you've never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done. So that is going to be taking that scary step towards that scary goal that helps get you close to your dreams and to where you want to be. And if it's not scary, if it's too convenient and it's easy and it's comfortable, you gotta dream bigger. You gotta push yourself to get out of your comfort zone. And I don't want you to worry about everything being perfect before you push forward. Just take little steps forward each day. So think about whatever area of your life it is that you want to focus on: personal, professional, financial, health. Again, we talk about it in those goals videos, those goals calls. And think about where it is that you want to go, where it is you want to be, and simply take action to get there. It's taking those action steps that are going to work through that fear, because we know that no action, fear of the unknown, is terrifying. So if we can take action and take those little steps forward each day, we're going to slowly break through that fear. So I want you to decide, something that I'm going to be doing on our team page is every month setting ourselves goals. And I want you to be thinking about picking 2 to 3 areas in your life. So of all those 10 areas that we talk about in the goal setting videos, I want you to pick 2 or 3 areas that you feel need some more focus, more attention in your life, that areas that you'd like to better yourself in. And I want you to think about your fears in those areas. And then I want you to think about where is it you want to be, and how can you take action steps to get closer there. So taking one area, for example, let's say you take health. I want you to think of 3 things, 3 small things you can do every single day to get you closer to your goal in that area. So let's say it's health. That's an easy one for us as coaches. It's going to be drinking our Shakeology, eating clean, getting our fitness in. It might be sleeping more, things like that, and finding those 3 things that you can do every day. Is if it's financial, maybe it is committing to your power hour to working your business, which you know is going to financially help you to grow. Maybe it is tracking every single thing you spend that day. Maybe it is creating a budget and working on what your ultimate saving goal is for 30, 60, 90, 1 year. So finding that area in your life, finding your fears around that area, and then creating the goal, the big, hairy, scary goal that's going to make you jump out of your comfort zone, but that's going to get you closer to your dream goal. And your dreams is the non-negotiable, no matter what goal that is scary as hell. And if it's not, it needs to be bigger. Find 3 things that you can do on a daily basis to get you closer to that goal and moving through that fear, as opposed to standing still, not taking action, and having fear of the unknown. Okay, so that is, pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. I have no idea how much time we're at. Usually it bumps us off. But I would love to actually share this video with you guys, end it on a really fun, high energy, but really just great tips that you can take away great tips that you can take away for breaking through fear, for inviting. And so let's see. Oh gosh, he's got a lot of good ones. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. So his name is Caleb Thomas, and he's doing really well in his coaching business, and he creates these really fun videos. And so I thought, knowing our number 1 fear as Beachbody coaches is inviting, I'm just going to share my screen with you.
What's up, everybody?
So hopefully you'll all be able to hear it and take some tips. So get out your pen, because I'm sure you're going to you're going to want to take some notes on this and potentially share it. Save it to share it with your team later. Hey, Taylor, can I just get a thumbs up if you can see that when I go full screen? Okay, awesome. Here we go.
Coach Caleb from EpicEveryRep.com. Does anybody else out there have a fear of inviting? Yes. It's our number one vital behavior as Beachbody coaches, but it's also the number one thing we conveniently like to skip. Let's be honest, it's scary and uncomfortable at first. I bet some of you out there know exactly how that feels. Here's what I learned. It's exactly like skydiving. I am not jumping out of the plane. I am not jumping out of the plane. I am not jumping out of the plane. Oh my gosh, that was the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. Okay, so maybe it's not that intense, but I promise, as soon as you jump out of the plane and start making your invites consistently, your business will fly. See what I did there? To help you guys get to that point, though, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for overcoming the very real fear of inviting. Here we go. Tip number 1, build relationships. I used to have this fear that people were automatically going to assume that I was a jerk just for inviting. The best way to conquer that fear? Slow down. And build a relationship with the person that proves to both you and them that you're not a scumbag. It's that simple. When you build a genuinely deep and loving relationship with somebody, you can share your message and purpose with that person without fearing repercussions. They trust you and you trust them. Tip number 2, change your vocabulary. When I first started, just the word invite used to freak me out. If that's the case with you, change the word to share. Honestly, that's what it is. You're sharing an incredible opportunity for change. Sharing is caring, and it's sexy too. And what about the word no? That one really used to freak me out. But check it out. If somebody says no to you, they didn't actually mean no. What they meant to say was no, not right now. Realize that by sharing your opportunity with them, you've planted a seed, and they will come to you when the time is right and they're ready to grow. Tip number 3, remember your purpose. If you're scared of inviting people, it could be because you've forgotten your purpose as a Beachbody coach, to help people. You wouldn't have signed up as a coach unless you wanted to do that, right? The problem is, as soon as you take the focus off of helping other people, by default, you've put the focus back on helping yourself, and that feels icky. Inviting is not about you or your growth. It's about them and helping them grow. When you remember the purpose behind your good intention invitation, it's hard to feel negatively about that. Tip number 4, think bigger. When I first started, I had this fear that nobody I invited would say yes. And guess what? That fear came true. Why? Because I only invited 5 people. To avoid a 100% failure rate, just invite more people. When you start 5,000 conversations, your chances of finding a yes skyrocket. Think bigger. And finally, tip number 5, just go do it. This is network marketing. And if you want the residual income, the freedom, the reward, the joy of helping people, you gotta man up. Bite the bullet. Jump out of the plane. Rip off the Band-Aid. Click the button. Send the message. And make the phone call. The fears we create in our mind will always be there until we conquer them. I believe in you. I know you can do this. You just have to go out and do it. Use my tips and invite now. And hey guys, I work really hard on these videos. If it helped inspire you to get out there and invite and face your fears, please like, subscribe, comment, share, all those buttons. Push them. And never forget, if you're
yeah, I mean, that was just so fantastic. I had to share it with you guys. Like, it's humor. It's like lighten up and do the action, right? So what I want to say now for your action items, I know we've already done a few, but just a quick review, and I want to throw another one at you, is I encourage you to take this video, take your brain dump, take your fear, take your goal, take the one that you're going to focus on, and share it with somebody. Share it with your upline, share it with your coach, share it with a friend who you can trust, that's really going to help hold you accountable, that's going to support you, that has your back, but that's also going to give you a hard time if you don't hit that goal. Somebody that's you're going to want to fulfill that goal because you're more scared of letting that person down. It's got to be that big of a deal. So share your fear and that goal with your upline, with your coach, or good friend now after this video. And I encourage you to have your focus this week on overcoming your fear, whatever specific that fear that is. Do your research. I want you to research videos, podcasts, books, and when you find something, I want you to share it. Share it on our team page. Share a video. Don't just share a video. Oh, I researched. Oh, I'm going to share this video with the team. Share a video that connects with you. Like that 5-minute video of Caleb that I just shared with you, like that connected with me. It's like lighten up. He's got humor in there, but really applicable action items that we can take in our business of one of those big fears. And I'm also going to be kind of sappy and give you some affirmations. I think affirmations are huge because it's just positivity and positive going in when sometimes we're stuck in that negative and that squirrel cage that's running around in our head. And remember that you are worthy, you are capable, and yes, you can. So those affirmations of saying, I am good enough, I am worthy, I am capable, and yes, I can. Yes, I deserve this. I know for me, I feel like Beachbody coaching is a calling for me. I've always been passionate about health and fitness. Dance is my life. Teaching and giving back to others and serving others has always been my life. And I feel like this just aligns with everything that's for me. And in fact, God bless him, had a friend yesterday tell me, like, you're just so good at like helping people. You just have such a heart for wanting to help people and help motivate and inspire and help them to be their best. And I just feel like this is what you were called to do. Like this. And it was like something that I've always kind of believed and felt, but to hear it come from somebody was just sort of something that I needed to hear and needed to be reminded that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I want you to know that even though this is what I'm supposed to be doing and this is my calling, I'm still terrified. I still have fears. It still scares me to death, even though this is the perfect place for me. And I hope that it is for you. And I think that that's exactly where we're supposed to be. If it doesn't scare us, then maybe it's not where we're supposed to be. We need to push through that fear. And I know that this is going to help me to grow. And I hope that it helps you to grow as well. So remember, we're here to help people. We have a big reason why we're here, and we need to always remember that, and just remember that you deserve it, and you're worth it, and you're capable, and yes, you can. Okay? So I'm going to close the call out there. Taylor, if you have anything to say or any questions. Okay. Great call. I hope you guys get to watch the replay, and I look forward to hearing from you, right? So if you're a coach watching this video, you should be checking into our team page, checking in with your coach, and focusing on overcoming your fear this week. Okay? Make it a great one. Bye, guys.